And hello everyone, and
Hello.
welcome to the 2025 edition of Larong Atin, the podcast. So,
Happy New Year. Happy New
Happy New
Year,
Year!
everyone.
Happy New Year.
Good, I'll just switch to the messages. Okay, and hello. So, yeah, Happy New Year everyone. We're back again, and one at a time, we're going to introduce ourselves and what have we been playing during the holidays?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay, Sir Freddy.
Hmm. Ano bang nilalaro ko? Well, recently, ang dinagdag sa games na nilalaro ko madalas is Firefight. So, I've been starting this new war game called Firefight, and I've been really enjoying it. And I was really very, very pleasantly surprised because it's a science fiction game, war game, and the cost to get into this game is a third of what it would normally cost to get into wargaming. So that's a very very refreshing uh, change or difference when it comes to wargaming. And the rules are actually pretty good. There it even won 2022 Game of the Year when the new edition came out. So I'm just recently discovering this game, and I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
Ikaw naman.
So I'm in Baguio right now. Where most of the time when we on December we stay here with Aya's family,
Mhm.
and
It's
since there are a lot of
January.
games here, yeah, I got to play a lot. So I'm gonna go through my Facebook to see what games I've
Okay.
been playing.
You played
Um,
Toa, right?
huh?
You played Toa.
Yeah, we played Tua. Spelled Troyes, pero we pronounce Tua. So what have we been
French?
playing?
Is this a French?
Based on a French city. It's one of those
Mhm.
historical Euros. So let's see. So we played Verdant. We played a lot of Cube Melt because of the kids.
Mhm.
Uh, Cube Melt, Dragomino also because of the kids. So it's a kids game designed by Bruno Catala. Okay, so going through my Facebook, we played Lewis and Clark.
Mm.
It's a interesting um it's like a racing game but mixed in with resource management, worker placement, and card multi-purpose cards. So I think it's
Mm.
like the type Ron would enjoy because it's multi-use cards. We played Verdant a few times because the relatives of Aya, maraming plantito plantita, so they appreciate it. I played Fjords, an old. It's the old version though. It's only two players. Fjords. Um, yeah, some of the games up here are kind of old. Let's see. We played Pute. I've been playtesting a new version of Pute.
Mhm.
Uh, I played Mr. Jack. It's
Mm.
a game by I think it's also Bruno Catala. Is
Yeah,
Bruno
it's the
Catala the Seven Wonders, right?
mm,
Right. Yes.
Anthony, no, si Anthony Bauza ata yun. Bruno
So
Casales, Five Tribes.
oh,
Hmm?
okay.
Mm.
Mr.
Bruno
Jack
Casales.
is let's see who designed this. It's Bruno, but it's Bruno Catala. It's not
Oh, okay.
so it's a hidden movement two play 1v1 game where one player is the police and the other player is Jack the Ripper, and Jack the Ripper is trying to escape while the police is trying to catch him. It's very interesting. It's a very nice 1v1 hidden movement game. And then we played Tua. So Tua is a little bit of a heavy um, Euro game. It's worker placement and dice placement. Well, it's not really worker placement. It's more of dice placement. Um, the rule book's pretty good too because I was able to learn the game just by going through the rule book
Mm.
once. And then we played last last night. We played Ticket to Ride, the card game. I didn't like it so much, and the rule book's not so great. Um, yeah, because there's a memory aspect to it, so it's kind of, for me, it's a little bit of an info overload game. And now I'm not playing, but they're playing Sushi, not Sushi Go.
Just sushi.
Sushi, the tile placement game. I think it's tile placement. And there. So I've been playing a lot of games over the Christmas break.
Na ano lang ako, na nostalgia trip when you said Mr. Jack. Kasi
Ah,
I guess one of my favorite re-implements nun. Although si ano pa rin, si Bruno pa rin. Is,
mhm.
I don't know if you've played yung, ano, the Phantom of the Opera, pero in French.
Yung Le Fantine de...
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
yes.
it plays out almost like Mr. Jack with extra steps, pero I had
Mhm.
fond memories of playing that game. So ganun din
Mm,
siya. Mm.
I think there's a copy somewhere here, but I don't know where it is exactly.
It's similar, pero the board is more impactful, I guess. Mas importante yung
Mm,
board.
mhm, mhm.
And so as for me, so hi guys, I'm doing I got to play a few games. Parang tried to play as much of the ABGF na mga leftovers, the ones that we've had, pero we didn't get to play test. But syempre, nag-highlight pa rin yung, like, I say, yung guest club. So it's from the same designer as Cat Between Us. His name's Sky Wang. Yeah. So the thing about it is it's a wagering game. It's similar to Jinxo. Now you're trying to hit another person with the same answer. Pero the thing about it is, while playing the game, not only are you trying to mark answers off, but you're also trying to uh, wager una yung at what amount you'll get it right. So parang bibilangin nyo kung ilan yung tamang sagot, and then at what amount the round ends, you also earn money from it. So may onting predicting siya on top of the whole we need to match our answers together thing. So
Mhm.
medyo fun siya kasi kahit ikaw yung supposedly the one always getting the right hits, if you're not even putting your money out, parang what's the point? But at the same time, parang there's a lot of going around regarding sa betting the side. So I really like that part.
Mhm.
But ano ba, one of the more esoteric designs I got to play was this one called Codex Naturalis. Like a friend of mine who went to Yellow Sub brought some games in and we got to try some of them. So ano siya, it's like a tile laying game, but you're using cards. Tapos you only put on corners. And then certain symbols are required for you to play a card down. But the cards often have the symbols in the corners as well. So may onting trade-off siya. And if I want to get another card, I might have to remove an old symbol that I once had. So may onting ganun siya. It's a very simple game. Pero honestly, like the past few months, I've been playing a lot more quicker games. So ano
Mhm.
muna, hinga muna from like heavy like 4 or 5 or epic games, I guess. At least at
Mhm.
my side.
Mhm.
Ayan. So, since we're welcoming the new year, later may mga some short announcements regarding like larong atin. But for now, let's just talk about siguro on a personal level, maybe as a designer, maybe as a hobbyist. Oh, okay. We can talk about our well the things that we want to do for 2025. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Excited.
baka some recap, I guess, of 2024 would do also.
Oh yeah.
Since
Oh wait,
si
sige.
Keo,
But let's slash muna. Si Keo asked the question. So, sige.
uh, influential to us or influential to the community, to
Well,
board game.
maybe if ano, like if you played it and you liked it so much, why not ano? Parang yun nga,
Hmm,
I'm gonna bring this to 2025. So may mga
sige.
ganun bang type ng games? Although
Uh,
ako, maybe from a, di ba, from a component perspective, my answer might come off as a little bit different. But I'm
uh,
looking into, say, ano na ako, like one of the games that, syempre, one of the sleeper hits ng ABGF was Cat Between Us, but it's not like the only game na ganun. In fact, a lot of the games there were moving into use of acrylics, pero not as standees per se, pero as part of components. So it's an interesting approach kasi in in other industries, sa hobby community, sa sticker community basically, they've been doing this in regards to using keychains na rin. They've been applying acrylics. So, mas mura kasi I think to manufacture it that way or baka mas maganda na lang yung technology for it. So, I think might be something worth considering when making new designs. Na instead of having to print yung regular cardboard stuff, you can print acrylics, which is also not very complicated to do, and that it allows
Mhm.
you to shape it your own way talaga. So that's something as compared to using wood or using existing cardboard where where you have to still check the stock. Then may mga ganun pa eh. Other considerations. At least with acrylics, you just like, slam it in with the art in the middle. Mga ganun. So that's like one of the. It's strange na it's not necessarily a design per se, pero from 2024, yun yung one of the bigger notes that I had to take down.
For me, let's see. I'm trying to think what are the games I played in 2024. I can't even remember the games earlier in the year. Pero I would say what I found influential. Let me think. So I guess the first game that comes to my mind is Altered. Altered the TCG. Because actually when we started long time ago when we started Balangay, what we wanted to do was make a TCG. And um what I wanted was actually to make a TCG, even though at the time I didn't know what a Euro was yet, because I was more of a TCG player. I already felt that the format of how most TCGs are has a restriction in multiplayer, because if you're trying to just kill off and eliminate players, then it really works best as a 1v1 game.
Mhm.
Although I mean there's commander and stuff like that, but I wanted to have um a kind of um end game mechanic which keeps all players throughout the game. So now seeing it as out and how Altered did it, I think that it was the type of game that I wish that I had tried to design before. It's it's what I would have wanted to design before Altered. Because of the mechanic, it's more of like you're playing a Euro game rather than that 1v1 zero sum type of game. So that's Altered. And then another game that I really liked last year was Come Sail Away. I played it in ABGF. It's by Sachi and Sachi. The developer actually is Daryl from Origame. And I really liked it because it's a board game, but there's no board. You actually have lots of cardboard pieces and they sort of form a giant cruise ship with the puzzle with the cardboard components. So I think that it's visually just looks like a great game, and it's able to accomplish that even without a big board. So yeah.
Mm. Well, for me, ano bang what's influential for me? Obviously, when I'm playing games, I'm not looking at it as a designer. I would be looking at it from a point of view of a distributor and then as a publisher. But mostly, it's if it's something that's going to be easy to sell. It's if the game is a something that I can market or build a community around. So I can't even I don't even know how to answer Chaos question basically.
Mhm.
So because that's not how I look at games. Uh, so I guess I'll have to pass. So
Okay.
basically, I'm just explaining why I cannot answer that question properly.
Mhm.
Man. Okay, so ano ba, if we're gonna set, sige, since I only gave one answer, the second answer is a bit weird as well.
Mhm.
So, wala na namang specific game, but I've been
Mhm.
looking through basically notes from Nico's explorations with Pursuit and yung
Mhm.
rule book system.
Mhm.
I'm gonna circle it back here kasi I
Mhm.
found it very interesting. I'm actually looking for more na similar na ganun. Kasi aside from what you presented, parang yung the other meta is yung medyo almost glossary-like na approach or yung kay Vlada na in injects you more in between na
Mm.
na supposed to make it whimsical, supposed to keep you engaged, but at the same time, it kind of buries yung actual rules within yung the language of trying to be funny. So yeah, so medyo I kind of like the approach that you've been implementing, which is a bit more concise and a bit referential.
Mhm.
So ano yung game that you originally saw it from? Like what was the one
Arctic Arctic something. Arctic Scavengers? No, is that right? That can't be. No, I don't think it's that. Wait, let me search for it.
okay, okay.
Arctic.
So basically the rule set. I'm thinking of
Sorry, Atlantic Chase.
yeah.
Atlantic Chase by Jeremy White.
Hmm. And then ano 'di ba? You also have like anecdote for it. And yun, yung when you were talking to when you showed your rule book to the people
Yeah,
attending.
so last year I joined the Zenobia contest, and I stumbled upon that rule book format because of a post by Jeffrey Engelstein. And um, while I was when I asked in the Zenobia contest if I could use that format, I didn't know, but one of the mentors, and actually my mentor in our pod, was the one who created that rule set. So he tagged Jeremy White, and then there. So it was a little bit embarrassing because I didn't know that the actual
He
person
was there.
who, yeah, he was, not only was he there, but he was the actual our actual mentor. So yun. Hmm.
Ayan. So may follow-up from Keo. So, first Sir Freddy daw. Two games that you tried and made you really want to get more people to play it. So ano siya, hindi lang siya enjoyment for
Two
self,
games.
almost
Okay,
evangelical.
I guess sa designs, yung gusto kong ipakita during ABGF, the game I really wanted to show the other guys, the other designers, when we got back, and the designers that were with us at ABGF was really Cats Between Us and Prowl. Cats Between Us primarily because talagang wow, nawaw talaga ako ng Cats Between Us. And I don't I may have told this story the last episode na that when the first time that the Sky was wanted to demo the game to us, I even said no. I want to try the other game, Guest Club, because I'm not a cat person. I prefer dogs. But after playing the game, wow, ang galing talaga. And pagbalik namin, we kept showing it to the other designers. We kept playing it in the store sa NG. So, yun, Cats Between Us. And the other game na what's interesting for us was actually Prowl. Mainly because it was able to implement a racing mechanic that has eluded, I think, the team. When I'm saying the teams, everybody sa larong ating designers, uh, we just couldn't pin it, and then na-implement nila na maganda. Meron lang kaming konting uh, issues with it pagdating sa endgame, but otherwise, we really love the design of that racing game. Uh, Outside of board games naman, I would say it would be Firefight ngayon dahil napawaw nga ako nun. And then, ano ba yung 2024 ko lang nag-start nila? I guess Altered. Yun nga, Altered TCG, which is very interesting because I already believe that there's too many TCGs in the market. So it's really hard to impress me with the TCG. If you show me a TCG tapos suntukan lang ulit, parang okay, what's new? Yung theme lang yung nagbago. There has to be something really unique about it for me to be impressed with the TCG, or talagang innovative siya. Pero yung mga basic suntukan lang, bakbakan ng mga characters or whatever, hindi na eh. Even yung one resource per turn, that's not new. That's like dual masters old. Uh, so at this point, actually, ang tingin ko nga sa TCG market, it's probably maybe within the year or next year, there's going to be a lot of fallout in the TCG market. A lot of small to medium TCGs will just stop. Sobrang dami talaga ngayon. So, but Altered was something that was unique. Nung nakita ko na laro ko, it was very interesting. So, yun.
Tsaka, saan ka pa? TCG designed by the guy who made Dixit. Parang,
Yes.
Yeah.
parang,
At saka
that's
literally,
different.
Euro na TCG.
Oh.
Ano ba bang pwede natin consider na literally Euro because it's a European company that made it, di ba?
Yeah.
I don't think there's another TCG na nanggaling
May
sa
ano ako.
Europe.
Siguro
Meron ba?
yung TC, well, what I'm thinking more in the Euro feel, siguro that what comes to mind lang is Keyforge. Kasi yung WinCon niya, you're also building up something.
But Keyforge is still American because it's Garfield.
Yeah.
Like,
Pero I mean,
medyo
just
funny.
mechanics wise, and it's still very bakbakan yung Keyforge.
Yeah.
So hindi din siya eh.
May
Outer
medyo hot takey ako na ano. Like the closest we can get is also a very American game to a Euro design na card game. So remember Doomtown? Doomtown is an area control game. You can refuse combat. You can siya. It's not, you don't fight in Doomtown. When you fight, it means the game is over. Kasi yung mga shootouts mo, you can just say no and go back.
Nire-revive siya na ngayon ng Pinebox. Pinebox is reviving Doomtown right now, I think.
Or I think rather they're keeping it alive. Kasi for a while, diba, with AEG, may second life siya, and then it was supposed to die. But I think the people from Pinebox said, no, wait, kami na lang, we'll do it ourselves. And
speaking of AEG TCGs, Warlord is going to make a comeback.
Oh, Warlord! Super retro reference.
Yeah, I enjoyed that a lot before. We'll see if I'll enjoy it again this time around.
Second life nila. Yeah. But yeah, there are a lot of card games.
Yeah.
Yun na lang yung
Too many.
conclusion for the day. Okay, so ayun. So I hope it answers yung question for Kyo. So I think we can go back a bit. Nico, you wanted to touch a bit of a recap for 2024 or paano ba?
Sige. So what happened in 2024 for
highlights, I guess, if personal and then design.
Yeah, so I went through the Zenobia design contest. I was a finalist with Pursuit of Aguinaldo. It was a nice experience. I got to meet a lot of people from the industry and was able to learn a lot from the different mentors and there. So there's that. I did some advocacy games. So I worked on games, yung isang game na hindi ko pa nilalabas na print and play, yung Petris. It's still somewhere there. I don't know yet when I'm going to when I have the time to make that. And then I spent a few months in production for a mega game that I made in 2023, and that took a lot of time because I had to cut out by myself. I cut out like 1,000 tokens. So parang
literal to cut out.
Yeah, I finished I think 3 whole shows while listening to the show while cutting stuff out. And like one of the shows was like New Girl, which is like 9 seasons or something. Sobrang haba, sobrang tagal kong nagka-cut and assembling whatever. And then we had ABGF, and what else happened last year? So and then I released my other game, Wombo. So there, it's I'm selling it now, but I'll open up my shop again once I get home from Baguio. And that's pretty much it for me. I think there's a general recap.
Larong atin side, well, last year was a year of a lot of small victories, and then game wise, we finally got Who Got Out again. And in a way, if you've noticed, starting with Darna, parang we've been touching base with the with a certain select parang classics ganun, that we want to do justice this time around kasi like Hugot is a storied piece. Yeah, one of the best selling products from Larong
Mhm.
Atin, and at the same time nga, parang we wanted to make a pseudo definitive edition na we
Mhm.
can just always go back to, like there's no need for a third edition, like with this alone parang we can just reprint it and it's there.
Mhm.
So publication wise, I think that's one of the bigger releases. Ang dami nag-ano. Hello, Happy New Year to
Happy New
everyone sa
Year.
chat. Yeah. And then in
Hello,
terms of
Rag.
Mhm.
events, we got to touch base with a lot of institutions this year. Last year, medyo proud kami with that. So we got to schools. We're back a bit with valleys. We also went with um, we also went with Pampanga. So SPCF. So yeah, a lot of the places na parang last year we planted seeds. Parang umuus the previous year, so 2023, we planted
Mhm.
seeds in. Parang ngayon, they're just continuing the relationship. And then we're also exploring newer relationships. So, uh, lalo na at the suggestion of the Singaporean embassy, we're gonna look into more government institutions. We're gonna prioritize putting basically the Filipino design in basically all over the world. We have plans, we have strategies to do that. It will make sense once things fall push through. Pero for now, let's just say na parang this year, we're aiming for bigger things talaga.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have nothing to add to that. Yun na yun. I think Dwayne, you know, sinabi na ni lahat ni Dwayne yung highlights ng larong atin for uh, 2024.
Mhm.
And
So,
so,
was any other game released? Just Hugot, right? And then, but
hmm,
don't you have news for for
for tayo,
watch list?
watch
Watch list.
list too. Yeah.
Watch this.
So,
I think that's going to be a 2025 thing.
Mhm.
So hindi siya part ng recap.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But the talks did happen in 2024. So,
Yeah.
technically, yes. Yeah,
Uh,
pero yun din pala, aside from yung our initiatives to put larong atin basically in most countries na ano, within Philippine influence, I guess. Uh, a game, namely Watchlist, is also being considered for an international release. Hindi pala considered. It's already basically in the process of doing so.
Yes.
So that would be our second quote-unquote international design. The first one being Folded Wishes. So yeah,
mhm.
so exciting lang. Steady, steady. Things are happening as we know
Mhm.
it. So, okay, so
Oh
ano ba?
wait,
Hmm?
I think we forgot to introduce why 2025 is an important year.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking for a way to segue into it, pero sige. But you just went straight, so let's go. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so yeah, why is 2025 an important year?
Sir, baka kayo, Sir Freddy.
Yes. Well, I wasn't aware of this until Dwayne pointed it out to me. 2025 is apparently 10th year. Not officially. I think kasi it might be, I'm not sure. Because the brand Larong Atin came after the first game we published. But the first game we published was in February 2015. So, magte-10th anniversary na yung game na yun. That's Codes and Verses by Ron Villaver. And even if at the time we published Codes and Verses, the brand wasn't established yet, we like to think that's where it started.
Mhm.
So, I guess happy 10th anniversary to Larong Atin.
Yay.
So
Coming this
I'm sharing the
February.
link. Ito yung ebidensya ko. I'm sharing the link nung
Mhm,
first ever post from Ludus pa.
mhm.
So ito, we posted it sa chat. Ayan.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, supposedly, apparently, it's the 10th year for us in February. So in line with that, we have a few more things planned, pero they'll come na lang din as basically we get there.
Mhm.
So aside from yung usual stuff that Larong Atin does, like we'll take an active participation in Bacon ulit, and ganun. and we're gonna see us in schools and then as usual. But at the same time, we have other things in line. So wala mo na spoilers for now. Sorry, like just wait 1 month. It's not that long.
Mhm.
But yeah, we have more announcements as the days go by. Pero medyo excited lang kami kasi nga, it's 10 years apparently.
Mhm.
Sige.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's been 10 years. It doesn't feel like 10 years.
Mhm.
So I don't know what that means. Though that it doesn't feel like it's 10 years. Does that
Meron
mean
kasi ano
I'm
eh.
huh?
Sir, yung are we gonna invoke the time paradox nung di ba yun yung excuse natin, yung pandemic ate 4 years or something.
Yeah, yung parang ganun eh.
Yeah.
Everything seems to have stopped. Time seems to have stopped during the pandemic, so it doesn't feel, you know, parang it didn't happen. Kaya parang it doesn't feel like 10 years.
Mhm. Yeah. I feel the same way then kasi supposedly Balangay was incorporated then in 2015. So parang, 10 years na but it doesn't feel like 10 years because of that 4 years that the pandemic ate up.
Mhm.
But I
Yeah.
think ano rin eh, like there are actual papers on it. Like
Mm.
how yung sense of time ng mga tao nagulo ng actual pandemic. So it kind of makes sense
Mhm.
like for every one of us. Di ba? Medyo
Mhm.
ganun yung ano eh, lumalabas. Ayun, sabi niya na, ni Jopat, ano yun, pandemic time space warp.
Yeah,
Mm.
it the our sense of how many years ago is kind of warped because of the pandemic.
Mhm.
And then when we talk with people, we have this, oh, that's pre-pandemic, that's di ba, parang that's
Yeah.
para siyang talagang meron siyang historical significance when we're talking that we say something is pre-pandemic or post-pandemic.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
different world. Parang yeah. Parang even if the pandemic was over and things have sort of normalized na and we're not wearing masks and stuff like that, parang the world has really changed since then.
Mhm.
And I think we're still feeling naman the effects of the pandemic kasi like with the
Mm.
inflation and whatever.
Mhm.
I mean, just to give an idea, dati, 'di ba, Darna is 150 pesos the original Darna.
Mhm.
Kasi dati nung 2017 when it first released, 150 was like a meal somewhat. So, medyo affordable pa. Pero now 150 is barely a meal. Parang kanina nga nagkape ako, parang I spent 200 pesos ata on coffee. So something parang things have really changed since then.
Yeah.
The inflation medyo grabe. And ngayon, 'di ba, the LRT daw, tataas ang presyo ng LRT.
Oh no.
Parang from yung minimum from 15 pesos magiging 25 pesos na.
Mm.
So, yeah, things
Yeah, that's
are
interesting.
things have really changed.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, so maniningil na ako. It's time for your gaming resolutions.
Mhm.
Meron ba kayo for 2025?
Ako, I think I have a lot. I have a
Yeah,
lot.
like as a hobbyist, as a designer,
Yeah, yeah.
as a person who
What
frequents, you know.
Kasi, well, ako personally, um, because of my disability, I don't get to game that often. Or, um, kasi pre-2023, kasi I had surgery noong 2023, di ako nag-game masyado. Kasi, usually, gaming happens in events. Like, you go out, you play and stuff like that. And di ko kaya kasi masyadong maingay. So, because of my disability, I have hyperacusis. I get pain from loud sounds. So, hindi ako lumalabas masyado. Yun. Tapos I had surgery in 2023 and slowly, parang I've been going out more. And last year, so that's the first year of parang after surgery, na-establish sa Neutral Ground Centris yung Board Game Fridays. So now I have a regular place to go to game. So one of my resolutions is just to continue that na every Friday pupunta akong Neutral Grounds to play. And I'm just hoping that there's gonna be enough games. We're gonna I have lots of games pa naman that I haven't played yet in a long time. So at least I'll be able to bring those to Board Game Fridays. Pero if anyone else wants to play and you have games, sige, bring it para I can also play. So I need to catch up on a lot of gaming, especially as we said during the pandemic. I wasn't able to play a lot of games. And then here in Baguio, a lot of the games are old. So like when we play games, I look at the copyrights and they're like, oh, 2008, 2012.
Agree ko.
So medyo in a way a little bit dated yung mga nilalaro ko. Still good games, but I haven't played a lot of the recent games except for the ones that I can play on Board Game Arena. So, and Tua apparently is on Board Game Arena, so now I can play Tua on Board Game Arena. Although it's kind of a brain busting game. Tapos it's one of those Euro games that at the end you have like 30 points. So after all that thinking, biglang oh, what did you get from it? Oh, you got 30 points. So,
The good
so
old days. Ang
oh,
point
yun
salad
ganun.
namin is 2 digits.
Oh, hindi siya yung, oh, you scored 150 points. Parang, oh, feel good. Ito, oh, you
You
scored
scored
30.
12!
Yeah. So, so yun. So, one of my board game resolutions, guys, to game more now that I can go out more.
Mhm.
So, there's the Board Game Fridays. And also, I can play test more because at least for someone like me, the monthly unpubs is not enough anymore. Because I have a lot of projects and I do a lot of iterations even in a month. So Board Game Fridays is great for me. I have a lot of space to play test more games.
Mhm.
Um, what else for 2025? Personally, also, I think I'm going to try. So I work as a game designer, but most of my work has been in advocacy games, where I make games for NGOs and advocacies. But after the past years of doing that, I think I want to try something different and work more in the hobby space.
Mhm.
So this year, I'm going, unless I am given a project that is too good to pass up, I'm probably not going to do any advocacy game related projects. And I'm going to focus just on my own designs or whatever other industry work I can get. So there, I'm going to push also for the publication of The Pursuit of Aguinaldo. I'm talking already to a publisher, um, but no promises yet, and I don't want to name the publisher yet just in case na hindi baka ma-jinx.
Uh-huh.
So um so there, hopefully I can get it signed next year. And I have a lot of ideas that I want to work on. I'm working on a next edition of Pute because there's also a publisher interested in Pute. But with changes that need to be done. So I'm gonna be playtesting Pute also. And I I have a new game also that I play tested just si
Mhm.
Dwayne was the first person I play
Yeah.
tested with. Sir Freddy, I'll show it to you when I get back. It's a small abstract 1v1 game. So there. And then yeah, then I have ideas that I want to work on. So I actually remember the game we played, yung Tea Garden.
Mhm.
Mhm.
The guy who designed it pala, he posted in Board Game Design Lab, and medyo inspiring. It was already something that I was thinking of doing. And then I saw his post and like, okay, I want to double down and maybe do it. He stopped everything now for 1 year just to focus on games. And he got
Mhm.
3 games published, which is Tea Garden and 2 other games. And apparently Tea Garden is the simplest of them. The other
Wow.
games are
Okay.
heavier and more unique pa daw. So yeah. And then so yeah, so I wanna try my hand at just going all out into the hobby side of game design instead of being split between hobby and advocacy.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that's my side for 2025.
Okay. So 2025, um, on my end, I guess, part of what I've been doing, part of my personal advocacy ko, I guess, is I've been wanting to bring yung the old games. Like, ano, the fundamentals of basically parang playing games to more people. Kasi even with our designers, even with everyone, parang a lot of people
Mhm.
who come in now, parang what we're seeing kasi is, at least in the contemporary past 10 years of design, it's already coming off with a lot of notes from earlier designs. So we're kind of getting a simplified, modernized na sense of design. So parang in a way, medyo nami-miss ko yung hindi ko na-miss, pero feeling ko like I feel like people should get to experience at least kahit once yung mga games that have broken down concepts
Mm.
neater. Parang kasi mas yun lang yung laman ng game. So I'm talking
Mhm.
about like maybe
I get.
Kitsia
Yeah.
style designs, mga ano.
Yung
Um,
mga pure before they muddle the mechanics together.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yung
So
mga pure
Gagawin ng
Euro.
fusion yung mga designs.
yes. Parang ganun siya. So mga Kinitsia, mga the old Kasala, yung basically something like Agricola, mga ganun. So
Mhm.
parang I wanna make it a point. Kasi even now the games are still accessible. They're still around us, they're still being sold, they're still at print. So I kind of wanna make it like a personal advocacy na to bring out some of those games and get people to play. Kasi I grew up, I think it's in college times. Okay, so I got to I was playing a lot of Freedom and Freeze nung ano ko, nung
Mm.
earlier gaming days ko. So and Freedom and Freeze is a mechanics guy. Like
Mm.
he
A green
parang yun
guy.
yung strongest suit niya, like how he works with mechanics. So
Mm.
in a way, I kind of wanna slide it in whenever possible. Na parang actually one of the reasons why the current designs work so well kasi is you need to compartmentalize these designs and to see parang oh ito actually this is a reference to this style of this aspect of gaming.
Mm.
Kaya siya gumagana kasi secure ka doon and then secure for everything else. And you put them all together and they make sense. Pero kasi, you kind of know where they came from. So in a
Yeah.
way, I
That's
kind of
cool.
want to do
That's
that.
interesting.
So
Yeah,
parang
let's
yun yung
play.
parang, yeah.
Yeah. So parang the source of deck building, Dominion. The source of worker placement, Kalos. The
Mhm.
A bit like
source
that. A
of
bit like that.
yeah, the source of auctions, Kinitsia. Parang ganun. Parang ganong yeah, I think that would be a good education then for the designers para lang
Mhm.
Mm.
makita yung
And just for people in
pure
general
stuff.
din.
Yeah,
Kasi
I agree.
things make sense
Mhm.
now. Kasi parang yun nga, medyo reaping the fruits na tayo talaga of.
Oh,
It's been a while. Yeah.
mix and match na yung game design
Mm.
ngayon eh.
And
Mix and
Mhm.
match of old stuff.
medyo controversial take. I'm willing to put this out. Feeling ko it came out at around mga 2010-ish pataas. Doon nag-start yung parang hybrid style designs.
Yeah.
You normally would expect, hindi kasi ang haba na ng history. Pero like, before, ano ba, mga D-Macker, mga, yung old
Oh.
voting games, mga, there, something happened recently. Baka kasi exponential nga din yung growth of like design space. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
dahil sa design space and then yung dumadami mga tao, people got eyes on the design. A lot of people wanted to design. Parang something changed, but for the better. Like I would say na
Yeah.
parang a lot of the games, if we get to play it, you'll notice kung hindi man siya boring, parang yun na yun. Hindi, oo, yun na talaga yun. Kasi yun lang
Yeah.
yung offer nung design at that time. Kasi back then, it was the innovation.
Yeah.
Ngayon we're
Yeah.
working with innovations on innovation.
Mhm.
Yan, so parang ganun lang. It's like
Yeah.
a,
Groundbreaking talaga yung mga certain games eh. Like I remember the first time I played Dominion, talagang mind blown ako. Even if the newer deck builders are actually better, I cannot have that same experience as the first time I played Dominion.
Mm.
Yung mind blown ka talaga, wow, this is new and it's a new experience. Talagang I've never seen this before. But even if the new deck builders that I see are actually better, you cannot get that same level of like mind blown nung the first time I played Dominion kasi there was really nothing like it before. Ang
Mm.
closest thing was a TCG. And then,
Mm.
yung background mo lang was TCGs and then, what's this? You're building a deck but during the game.
Mm.
Diba? So, that's really something new. And me being a TCG player, talagang, wow, ang galing nito. Yung mga bagong games ngayon, I think that's what's lacking right now, which is I think medyo I think the newer gamers are still able to have that experience, but nawawaw na lang sila pagpasok talaga nila dun sa hobby. Not yun like for example me, the first time I saw Dominion, yung medyo matagal na rin ako sa hobby, pero parang bago. Ngayon, there's very few games that actually offer that now. There's very few, and if there is, uh, yung tweaks na lang siya. Hindi siya yung parang wow, it's a new genre.
Mm.
Lately, that's what I've noticed. Wala na talagang masasabing deck builder, may bago na gano'n or may 'di ba? Parang ngayon ang ginagawa nila lang is oh, this is deck builder area control. This is worker placement something gano'n. But there's no new genre that's being created.
Mm. Yeah. Which I guess is the natural progression then, in a way. There's nothing wrong with no more genres being created. And parang ano nga yung I was listening to an episode of Ludology. Although they were talking about this in 2015, parang the board gaming hobby daw has entered its Hollywood phase. Kasi parang
Really?
Hollywood na
Well,
lang. It's always the same stories. They're just
yeah.
retheming and re-implementing. Pero there's no real in Hollywood, diba? Parang there's no real new stories. It's always just the hero's journey, the comedy, the rags to riches, the ganon. So
It,
same daw
mm,
in board gaming.
yeah, it's not necessarily bad. Kasi
Mm.
gano'n rin naman eh. Like I think in everything may mga bursts talaga na parang may daming bago and then refine and then magkakaroon ulit ng burst ng mga bago. But it might be harder for the tabletop space like I said in a previous episode. I think yung new frontier na makikita natin is in the component space. It's not necessarily going to be mechanics. It's mechanics aided by exploring new components.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like puti.
Yep.
Yeah.
Funny lang, the 2015 na Ludology pod, it's interesting kasi I'm gonna bet it's a bit before December. It's a bit before Q4. Kasi merong something very big na nangyari at the end of 2015.
Legacy.
Legacy. Yun nga,
Like,
like,
they
were pronouncing it Nats.
Tama.
they mentioned it in that episode. Pero I think the weight of it hasn't dawned yet. Parang, it's interesting, ganon. Pero nandun pa sila sa medyo skeptical na it's, I can't, I won't be able to play this game again. Parang ganon. Medyo nandun pa. Yeah.
It's one of the mga more modern na innovations we've had. But even then, it was like, how old is Risk Legacy? Kasi Pandemic Legacy brought it to fame. Pero Risk Legacy, I think, is already 2011 pa yung Risk Legacy. So, yeah. Innovation is kind of scarce, I guess. But it's not a bad thing. Yeah. The games you're playing now are basically full games within themselves. Yun importante. Like, the experiences now are much more complex than you would have when you played games before. So, I kind of appreciate that. Feeling ko lang like people need to know na this, where they came from.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. Kaya Sir Freddy.
Actually, there is an innovation that somewhat happened recently, which I think started with Keyforge and is now in Altered, which is yung unique components. I think that's an new innovation. But that's technology driven because definitely it has to be print on demand. It's still somewhat ties into what Sir Freddy said, that's component driven, because this one is technology
Mhm.
driven that allowed for that component to be created.
Mhm.
But the
Yeah.
thing I
Yung
like, sorry.
uh, it's not, yeah, it's technology driven. Ano ba yung exact terms na correct for it? It's algorithm? No. It's
Algorithmic siya, sir. Pero
huh?
at the same time, but technically algorithmic siya. Pero hindi siya exact eh. Specifically sa case ng Altered kasi the designs were intentionally made pa rin. Like with the uniques.
Mhm.
Like hindi siya like random stat blocking add effect, remove effect. Ganun.
Mhm.
So they're all unique pero assisted
Yung
siguro like I
yeah,
guess.
the unique cards are actually unique. So if you have a
Mm.
unique card, that's the only one in the world.
I think yung
Mm.
problem with Keyforge dati kasi is ano eh, everything was random per faction. So may decks talaga na unplayable. May mga ganun.
Mhm.
So I think at least with Altered, sure, technically unplayable yung card, pero functional siya. Like, if you play it, it would still work. Pero ganun yung nangyayari with the uniques. So side grade nga tawag nila. Hindi siya necessarily upgrade.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yun.
Mm.
Me resolution none. Gaming resolution none.
Mm.
I'll play. I'll play. That's basically it. Naglalaro pa rin ako. Probably to the same level and same amount as I've played in 2024. I don't foresee me changing anything particularly.
Mm.
So yun.
And to be fair din, ano rin, yung level of consistency is worth a resolution for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's been my one of my big points about building communities, and which Ron din is also ano kasi dati na sabi ko sa kanya yun eh, a long time ago when we were building WoW TCG community, that one of the most important things when you're building a community is consistency.
Hmm.
So if you're consistent, you're always consistent with your schedule, with being there, and it's easier to build the community. Ganun lang.
Mm.
Yeah. Totoo naman yun. It's yung presence alone is very big.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Okay, so meron pa ba tayong other things? Unfortunately on my end, ano ko eh, a self-imposed NDA on a lot of things. So even if
Mm.
I'm excited to want to talk about certain things, hindi ko talaga,
Mhm.
like, I'm stopping myself from doing it. So, meron ba tayong big events at least for January?
We will probably be in Val Ace in January 20 something.
Yeah,
I
for
don't think it's a
the
weekend.
school. Hmm.
Yeah, sa Val Ace ulit, Valenzuela City Library. Sa January, February, we're gonna have, anniversary. We don't know what we're gonna uh, basta meron plano si Dwayne.
Hmm. Sige.
Ah, mm, Tapos may mga there's also some ABGFs in Thailand and
Mm.
Malaysia, which I'm considering going to. And then, ABGF in October. October nga, yeah, right?
Yeah. October, ABGF?
November.
When is it?
November.
Or November?
November,
November.
November.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm getting confused. So yun, I guess yun yung medyo may schedule na tayo so far for larong atin and larong atin participation. Definitely, Tayog is going to come out this year.
Mm.
May preview na tayo. We have a demo copy, and na-preview na natin siya sa ABGF, and then nalaro na rin siya dito sa Philippines. Ano pa ba? What else are
Critical success.
yung
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 tayo.
yeah, yung
Reception
Tayog
is
was
kinda
like
wild.
laging busy. Laging
Mm.
busy yung demo ng Tayog sa ABGF.
Yeah, well
So
received
that's
ang
a good
tayo.
sign. Yeah.
Too busy. It was too busy.
Mga taong ayaw umalis sa lamesa.
Yeah. So yun. So, yeah. So, those are some things to look forward to.
Mhm.
Sige, I'll stop myself. Baka may accidentally ma-spoil. But basically, January is the first month of many for 2025, and we're happy to have you here sa pod. And yeah, we hope to see more of you in the following months. Oh, we forgot to mention also we'll be in Bacon, and yeah,
Mhm.
thanks for hanging out with us for the first ever podcast of the year. So we're at an hour mark. I think we're good. So unless meron pa kayong last minute plugs or invitations, wala na.
No, we're good, I think.
Connie.
Well, yeah, if you wanna Unpub has been moved to January 18. So if you have any games you wanna play test, can go to Unpub. I have to set up the poll pala on where Unpub will be. I
Yeah.
haven't done that yet. So, but most probably Centris kasi that's where everyone votes for. Yeah, then if you want to play any games on Board Game Friday or if you want to play test any games, then just drop by on Board Game Friday. I'll be able to go na in the following Friday since we're traveling back down na this weekend.
Yeah. And so if wala na, so I'd like to again thank everyone for hanging out with us. And yeah, this is Larong Atin, and we are signing off. Bye bye.
Bye bye.